Hello, folks, and welcome to the show. My name is Asa Morris, and this is Weird Week, episode 3. This week, my news collection has been a little bit sparse due to the, let's say, apocalyptic conditions here in Texas. I've had one shower all week. It was yesterday, so I don't look horrendous right now, although maybe not camera ready. But fear not, despite my lack of news collection, we still have a really odd and fascinating show for you. Anything we talk about will, of course, have links in the description. But before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you could help feed that YouTube algorithm, do all the things like comment, subscribe, and the bell, all those terribly annoying things. It helps. Also, while we're at it, and while we're begging you for stuff, if you need more of me in your life, make sure you head over to your favorite podcast outlet and follow Lowe's Strangeness. It's our weekly podcast where we discuss any number of topics from both an indulgent but also skeptical point of view. It's a great time. Anyway. On French television, during a news interview with Russian correspondent Vera Goffman in Moscow, an object that the denizens of the internet were quick to claim a UFO flew by in the background.
Vera, le ministre russe des Affaires étrangères a déclaré que la Russie était prête à rompre les relations avec l'Union européenne. Est-ce que vous avez plus de précisions?
And here again is the same clip, but a bit slower. Given the speed of the object and the city background for scale, it is an interesting clip regardless of whatever it may be. On Monday, Vice ran an article with one of the most scroll-stopping headlines I have ever come across. Scientists have proposed a new particle that is a portal to a fifth dimension. While the article at first seems a bit sensational, the actual idea is a little easier to swallow. First, the particle is still undiscovered, they just want to begin looking for it. Second, the term dimension, while not inaccurate, isn't totally accurate in the popular sense. Not necessarily another world, but a dimension like three-dimensional space and time, a new fifth dimension. They believe the discovery of this particle would assist in the current dark matter abundance issue, as well as a host of other problems currently haunting the scientific world. Also on Monday, Reddit user Burt Beeps posted this video. The reasonable explanation for this short video was that it was a plane coming head-on toward the camera. However, a second video was posted from a different angle.
¿Y un café cuál es?
Mira que empezó de acá, lo vi yo. De aquí empezó. Y le dije, y luego te dije, mira. El peluco ese que tenía que explotar contra la tierra, ¿no? No van a invadir eso.
And that sort of throws a wrench into it. Posting a video or photograph is of course always preferred, though in some cases it wouldn't really matter, such as the case here. Another report of an invisible forest creature has popped up, this time in Florida. The creature is described as being 6 to 8 feet tall, invisible but shimmering, and having a silhouette of a tail. While the tail seems to be a new or maybe missed detail in this sort of creature report, the rest seems pretty standard. Speaking of bizarre creatures, this photograph taken from a bedroom window in Nova Scotia is fairly interesting. This was taken from the r/crawler sighting subreddit. The user describes the creature as moving like the supposed Fresno night crawlers and being very tall and pale. While I don't see the characteristics of normal crawler sightings, being on all fours and skittering about, and this is merely a still image and not even a video, this remains a strange sight and photograph. On the blog The Spooky Stuff, Alex Matsuo posted a fantastic article titled "Are Paranormal Investigators Creating Their Own Ghosts?" I have a lot to say about ghost hunters. which I won't. But the article brings up an interesting point from a wider lens on the phenomenon, that of tulpas. Alex brings up the famous Philip experiment, an experiment in which a group of researchers and mediums conjured a ghost of their own creation, and suggests that ghost hunters may accidentally be doing the same thing, dumping energy into their belief and manifesting hauntings, for lack of a better word. A study published on Thursday showed incredible sleep study results. A group of researchers have determined a system to be able to communicate in real time with people experiencing lucid dreams. Participants in the study were able to correctly respond to questions such as simple math problems while in REM sleep. A number of other interesting conclusions were reached during this study, including participants being able to vividly recall the dream experiment, or participants being able to vividly recall the experiment entirely incorrectly, despite their clear and accurate responses during the experiment. If you listened to this week's episode of Low Strangeness already, you will be familiar with a story I told regarding a giant white dog yanking a giant white hog off of a Texas road. Well, shortly after recording this episode, a friend of mine posted this on Facebook, asking if there were any wolf sightings in upstate Vermont because while driving home near St. Albans, something white and larger than a dog, in fact huge, they state later, jumped over the hood of their car. They insist it was not a dog or a deer and says they know what they saw, they just don't know what they saw, which I think a good number of us understand exactly what that means. You may be familiar with the famous battle over Nuremberg in 1561. If not, here is a woodcut of the event as described by the people at the time. In its own right, it's a fascinating story, and doubly so because shortly thereafter, a similar event was recorded in Basel, Switzerland. I highly recommend checking in on the story if you are unfamiliar. However, as you can see, the people of the time were having a difficult time comprehending the things they were seeing. So on Friday, Reddit user Release Roderick posted his updated, modernized version of the woodcut. They used identified crafts from modern times and weather phenomena as we now understand it, such as the sundog in the background. Is this closer to what the people of Nuremberg saw almost 5 full centuries ago? I guess we can never really know. Ring cameras and ghost orb photos seem to go hand in hand lately. And at first, I thought this was no different. However, the object in this video captured seems to wander off behind the bush on the left side of the screen. Admittedly, it was eerie, so I watched it a few more times. Here's our weekly How to Spot a Fake section. First, the object going behind the bush may be a coincidental movement as a bug or maybe dust is blown up and off the lens. But what really sticks out to me as fakery here is this. The timestamp doesn't change. Most likely, fake. And lastly on Saturday, this video was captured in Little Rock, Arizona. An object vaguely cigar-shaped can be seen floating by, but occasionally performing sharp zigzag motions. These sharp motions hint that it is most likely not faked, and most likely not a drone or bird. And that's our week. Like always, there were a ton of other videos and reports and articles that we could have covered, but for the sake of brevity, didn't. These sorts of questionable things are around us all the time if we're paying attention. Can most be explained in mundane, normal ways? Absolutely. But some cannot. Even in 1968's Condon study that the United States Air Force funded in an effort to help deny the UFO phenomenon, which is not their stance currently, large percentages of events and reports could not be explained in mundane ways. Something is going on, and has been. It is incredibly important to be skeptical about these things, as there are a large number of opportunists who see gullibility as a paycheck. However, it is equally as important to not be so rooted in your skepticism that you refuse to see the world around you as it is. Which, as I've said last week, if something has happened to you, if you have seen something, I want to know about it. I want to talk to you about it, and potentially on the podcast. You can get a hold of us on any of the socials, or if you want to message us directly, lowstrangeness@gmail.com. Once again, I'm Asa Morris. Thank you so much for joining us here on Weird Week. We hope to see you again. If you enjoyed us, once again, please check out our podcast, Low Strangeness. It's available wherever podcasts are. And don't forget to like, comment, sub, the bell, the big four. It's really appreciated, really helps. Thank you so much. If you have any submissions you'd like to see us cover, let us know. We'll see you next time, when I'm sure I'll say,